Go through what you have to go through. And I'm not saying it's always going to feel good. I'm not saying it's always going to be something that you're going to understand. I'm not saying it's going to be something that makes sense. But I am saying I've learned in my own life, and I've learned from people who talk to me, that the levels that I went through, I couldn't make sense of that level until I got to another level, and I was able to look back and to see that I needed what I went through to make me stronger, and I also needed what I went through to help me on this level.
Let's go, let's grow, let's get it.
My name is Carlos V. Spencer. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Be sure to click and like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if this thing has been beneficial for you, let it be beneficial for somebody else. Share it with somebody else. Share the video, comment on the video. Let us know what you think. We are reading the comments. We are paying attention to the information that you are liking, that you're enjoying. Let us know what's helping you so we can produce more of the information that's helping you. And again, click it to subscribe so that every time when the video comes and I put a new video up, you get a notification of something new, another video that's come up, and you get that notification sent to you. Thank you, and we appreciate those of you who already been doing this, and we're looking forward to more of you doing this as well, so we can get out and just help as many people as possible. What are we helping people to do? We're helping them to become better, right? We want them to become better, so whatever they do, we want that thing to become better as well. This week, what we're talking about is this levels. There are levels to this. What do I mean when I say there's levels to this? There's a beginning stage, there's an ending stage, there's a middle stage. There are different levels to whatever you might be doing. You may be at the beginning level, and here's a good one. Don't measure your chapter 1 with somebody else's chapter 12. What do I mean by that? Don't measure your chapter 1 by somebody else's chapter 12. You may be looking at somebody else who's doing something that you're doing in the same lane, in the same vein. And they're doing something that you're doing, but you find yourself seeing them on Instagram. You find yourself seeing them maybe here. You find yourself seeing them on YouTube. You find yourself seeing them, and you're like, man, it seems far-fetched. How are they where they are? Why am I not there? Because there's levels to this. Don't compare your chapter 1 with somebody else's chapter 12. They had a chapter 1. And a lot of times you find yourself a mentor or somebody who's doing what you've done and they're further down the road. A lot of times your chapter 2 or chapter 3 is way more advanced than their chapter 2 or chapter 3 was. And you're comparing yourself to where they are, not knowing that on the level that you're on, you're actually further than the level that they were on when they were on that level. There's levels to this. And when there's levels to this, I often say, don't skip levels. Try not to skip levels. And what I mean by that is go through what you have to go through. And I'm not saying it's always going to feel good. I'm not saying it's always going to be something that you're going to understand. I'm not saying it's going to be something that makes sense. But I am saying I've learned in my own life, and I've learned from people who talk to me, that the levels that I went through, I couldn't make sense of that level until I got to another level. And I was able to look back and to see that I needed what I went through to make me stronger, and I also needed what I went through to help me on this level. I believe it was Kirk Franklin. There was an interview, and somebody was talking to him, and they was asking him, you know, all of the things that you're doing now. It seems like you're on this high level, right? Pun intended. And you're doing all of these amazing things. You could take this and you could apply it to anybody's life almost, especially somebody who's successful. And you're doing all these amazing things. And they asked him this question. This answer always sticks with me. They said, how are you doing everything that you're doing? It seems to be so much. It seems to be like it could be impossible. It seems to be like this level of success is like you can't sustain this. He said, I learned it in the valley. And when he answered that question with that answer made so much sense to me. Because what he was saying was, the things that I'm doing on this level, this quote unquote mountaintop, are the things that I learned to do in the valley. Listen to this. He was saying that the things that I'm now doing on this level, I learned how to do those things when it was difficult, when nobody saw me, when there was no pat on the back, when there wasn't a bunch of views, when there wasn't a lot of money. I learned how to do these things on that level. So now that I'm on this level, I'm able to operate on this level because I didn't skip the things I was supposed to learn. You're learning, I gotta say this, you're learning something on this level that you're going to need on a later level. And God, in his infinite wisdom, didn't want you to miss out or to mess up when you get on the grand level, when you get on the higher level, when you get into flowing into what your gift is and people are seeing and experiencing it and it's changing people's lives. God is equipping you now so that when you get to that level, you'll be able to do it. I played football. I played Division I football. I had full scholarship. And when I played football, we had football camp. And during football camp, you would wake up in the morning and you would feel, your body would feel like you already had 2 or 3 practices in the morning and you haven't done anything yet. That's how your body would already feel because of how much you were going through. When I played football back in my day, right? Back in my day, that's going to sound like putting my age on myself. Back in my day, there were 3-a-days. If you're a sports person or you're a football person, you'll understand this. If not, you can understand when I'm breaking it down to you. There were 3 days. We had 3 practices a day. We woke up and we had practice before we even ate breakfast. I thought that was cruel and unusual punishment. So we woke up, had practice, ate breakfast. We went back, had another practice, same day, had lunch. Came back, had another practice, came back, had dinner. And then we went and watched film on the 3 practices that we had. We were going through all this stuff in football camp, preparing ourselves, weightlifting, exercising, learning plays, putting on equipment, running into somebody, tackling drills, all this stuff we were learning pre-season before the season even started. And I promise you, there were times when the season started that I would be on the field during a game and I'd be physically tired and breathing hard. Watch this. But I would remind myself, Carlos, you in shape. And Carlos, you prepared yourself for this. Like I had to remind myself that I did something on an earlier and a lower level to prepare myself for this level. So there's 1 or 2 people probably watching this, maybe 1 of 3. One person who's at the lower level and you don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why I'm going through what I'm going through. I don't understand why this is so difficult. I'm just trying to do something good. I'm just trying to do something right. I'm just trying to take care of my family. I'm just trying to do something that's not negative. Why isn't this thing working out for me? Sometimes we don't understand on that level because we're learning things on that level that we need to use on the higher level. Maybe you're in between and you learn some things on that level and you have these things, but you still feel like the door hasn't opened up on the higher level. It's going to open up because you learn these things for a specific reason. My mentor would always say this: when you find yourself at the right place at the right time, there's usually a person there to help you up. And if you get there too early, that's because if you get there and there's no person there, then you might have gotten there too early. That means you might be in a waiting stage where you're going to get to that next level, but somebody's going to be there to be able to help you to get to that next and to that higher level. He also said this: if you're in this middle stage, you'll see some signs. He said the closer it becomes, the more rhythmic it becomes. I want to break that down just a little bit. The closer it comes, the more rhythmic it becomes. That means you start to hear and see things that have something to do with what you're doing, and you start to hear it more often. What does that look like? I'm a speaker, and maybe somebody says, oh man, you should be speaking. Maybe it's before I start speaking. Oh man, you speak so powerful. Right? And I hear that from somebody maybe once every other month, once every couple months. And then on a monthly basis, somebody's saying something about me speaking. Then almost every week, somebody's coming up to me saying something about me speaking or my speaking, how it's helped them or how it's affected them. It's getting closer because it's getting more rhythmic. Pay attention to those signs. All right, so let's get back to these levels. When we're talking about levels, that middle level, that in-between level, pay attention because you're getting closer. The higher level is now you're on that level. The third person probably watching this is you're on that level. And you find yourself using these things. And you find yourself, like me in those football games, where you're getting to a level and maybe the success can be overwhelming. Right? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That means our deepest fear sometimes is not that we can't do it. Our deepest fear is sometimes that we actually can do it. And when success comes, we actually push ourselves further past the success that we saw ourselves in. But sometimes that can be frightening. Sometimes if you're on that level, you can feel like myself in that football game. And you can feel like, man, am I able to do this? I mean, am I able to have this much money? Am I able to function making this much money? Am I able to function with my gift taking off like this, with my company and my business taking off like this? And am I able to function? All right, but you can remind yourself just like I did. Carlos, you prepared yourself for this. And you went through something to actually get to this level. So here it is. Levels. There's levels to this. Don't skip levels. Back in my day, here we go. There was this thing called magazines. And we have magazines still, but you may have not heard before them if you're young. But if you're my age, a little older, or even a little bit younger, you've heard about magazines. So with video games, they had these cheat codes in the magazines. Me and my friends, we would play these video games all the time. Me and my boys, we had these different games back when Sega Genesis and Nintendo, when you had to blow the cartridge back in the day. They had these cheat codes in the magazines, and the cheat codes gave you something that you could do to pass a certain level on a video game. So one person, let's say on the video game, there may be 10 levels, and this person is on level 3, and they couldn't get past level 3. And so they went and used the cheat code that showed them that they could put in this code and pass the level, right, without having to go through something and doing something to pass the level on level 3. Well, so they passed level 3. Pay attention. They got to level 4, passed level 4. Right? Got to level 5, past level 5. 5, got to level 6, past level 6. Got to level 7 and couldn't defeat the enemy at the end of level 7. They kept doing what they knew to do. They kept getting to this level. They kept going through this different stage time and time again just to get to the end of level 7, and they cannot defeat this enemy on the end of level 7. Finally, they called their friend up. They said, yo, I'm on this video game and I can't pass level 7. He said, did you use the cheat code in level 3? He said, yeah, I did use a cheat code. He said, that's the problem. On level 3, catch this. On level 3, you were supposed to defeat an enemy that gave you a weapon. This weapon that you got from this level, you were supposed to keep. And once you got to level 7, you would be using this weapon to defeat this enemy on level 7. Here's what happens. This story is really good if you grab what I'm saying. See, when you skip level 3, you think you didn't need what you need to learn in level 3 because the person didn't need it for level 4. They didn't need it for level 5. They didn't need it for level 6, but they need it for level 7. Some things that you're going through on this level don't make sense because you don't need them for that level, and you don't need them for the next level or the next level or the next level. So you can't see it in your near future, and it does not make sense to you because it doesn't make sense for the level that you're on, and it doesn't make sense for a future level that you can see, but you're going to need it on a level that you are going to get to as long as you keep going. So don't quit on this level. Don't cheat on this level. Don't try to take the easy route out on this level because you need this level to teach you something. You need this level to equip you with something that you're going to need on a future level. And your future level and your future self is going to thank your current level and your current self for sticking with what you're sticking to and making it through because your future is going to need what you're doing now. You can't give up. Do not give up because your future self is depending on your current circumstance. My name is Carlos V. Spencer. I'm so glad you tuned in, and I believe that these levels are helping you. Click the like, click the share, click the subscribe, hit a comment, share it with somebody. Come on back and join us next week. Let's go. Let's grow.
Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's get it. Let's